In this video, I want to debunk a common and misleading phrase that is often used when people are lost. I'm sure we have heard at some point people saying to follow your passion, do something you love, and the money will follow. You get my point. Everything I'm about to say is based on my own opinion and it's not intended to offend anyone. If you're not ready to face reality, then now is a good time to click off. I want to clarify that I understand the logic behind following your passion, because if you enjoy what you do, then you are more likely to put in more work into it, and therefore your chances of success in theory should go up. In my opinion, I think just telling people to follow and pursue their passions as careers with the assumption that it will eventually work out is quite misleading. The problem with that statement is that it's mostly used by itself. I think we have seen way too many examples of this where we look at a career advice video or a motivational video and they don't provide any further context or explanation of when the statement actually holds true. So now people are left with this misconception that as long as you do something that you enjoy, then you'll be fine. And as much as I want to agree with that statement, unfortunately the reality is very different. Let's put it this way, if you want to be successful at something, you need to be really good at it. Of course, it would be preferable if you also enjoyed it, but it's definitely not mandatory. And now if you switch the same scenarios around, you can clearly see that it doesn't work the same way. So the idea that I'm trying to get through here is that it's really important to distinguish between being good at something versus being passionate at something. Being good at something, depending on what it is, can make you big money, but being very passionate at something by itself won't necessarily yield the same outcomes. So when people say to follow your passion and the money will follow, that statement on its own, I don't think it's really credible. But if they mention anywhere along the lines that you actually have to be good at that said passion, then the statement holds much more value. I guess the counter argument to that would be if you're really that passionate about something, then you would naturally spend time and get good at it. And that is a very valid point, and I'm a strong believer that hard work pays off. But the real question here is how much work are you willing to put in and not see results and not give up? And if you're willing to keep pushing under these circumstances, then it's solid proof that you're truly passionate about what you do. And if you keep it up, then I do think you will eventually see some results. However, what I'm trying to highlight here is that the majority of us will probably not get to the point where following our passions will lead to a career. Most likely we'll give it a crack and we don't see the results we want to see and give up. It's hard to put my thoughts into words, but the next point this brings me into is the fact that passions only last because we find enjoyment out of it and we want to voluntarily do it. But by turning it into a career, these conditions completely change. You do it because you need to get paid and not necessarily because you want to. For example, when I was younger, I really enjoyed coding. But after enrolling into my software degree and having to code on a daily basis, the last thing I want to do right now is coding. I just want to remind everyone that just because you're passionate about something, it doesn't necessarily mean you will enjoy it the same way when it is turned into a full-time job. In some cases, choosing to pursue that passion as a career can very well end up killing that passion instead. I think a lot of passions are better off as just passions, things that we do on an occasional basis because we enjoy it. And at the end of the day, that's what a passion is. To sum it up, when people say to follow your passion, I think there is definitely some truth to it. You should obviously try to pursue something that you like and enjoy, but at the same time, you shouldn't just blindly chase your passions, expecting things to work out. And ideally, you want to find a good balance between something that you're really good at and something that you don't mind doing in the long term. And just a reminder, passions only exist when you enjoy it. So ask yourself, are you still going to enjoy it if it's your 9 to 5? And if the answer is yes, then by all means, go for it. I wish you best of luck. So that about does it. Feel free to subscribe so we can talk about more interesting topics. And I'll see you all in the next one.